My show today is gonna be absolutely amazing. There is this saying, a house is not a home until it has its own queen. I'm gonna put a little spin on this and I'm gonna say the show called One Step has now gotten its christening with the presence of a queen in her own rights. Today we have Yanique Green Ricketts. She is a immigration consultant, entrepreneur, a mom, a wife, and I'm pretty sure she wears some other hats. So we will have to give her the chance to share those stuff with us. Yanique, it is a absolute privilege.
Thank you for having me on One Step. It is a pleasure to be here, Joelle.
You are now officially, just like I've said to my first guest, you are now officially a member of the One Step family. We are happy to have you.
Thank you.
How are you, Yanique?
I'm doing fine. And how are you doing?
God is good.
All the time.
I need to start using that phrase a little bit more often. He is good. And so Yanique is going to be introducing us to some important details when it comes to immigration, among other things. But before we get into Yanique's business, we have decided to formulate a little script before getting into that. And it is called Through the Eyes of a Woman. So, Yanique, I have to ask you.
Okay.
When you cook your white rice, do you put a little piece of butter?
Absolutely. It's not rice if there's not butter in there.
Real Jamaican woman. So I have to throw it out, and I'm curious. There's just a little bit that I'm sure that my audience want to also understand. When I say audience, more so the male audience. And might I say this, YouTube has revealed to me that maybe 90%, if not more, of my audience are males. So the hope is that Yanique is going to open up the door, the floodgates, to the female viewers that I don't have. And this will change the game itself.
Okay, well, let's hope. Let's see. I have faith.
Thank you. But Yanique, what do you have to say to the female audience? Because I feel like they're not listening to me.
Well, I think your content is great. I think with anything that we just start doing, it takes time to nourish it and for it to grow and flourish. But like you said, hopefully One Step having its first official woman on the platform will garner the attention of other ladies to come over and see what it is that you're doing and what you're talking about.
Ladies, I want your comments. I want the constructive criticism. I want to know what I can improve on, how I can improve it. But I need you guys to put some stuff in the comments so I can know that and do that and improve. Looking forward to it. So we're going to pick on Yanique one more time. Well, not one more. It's not going to be one more time. It's not going to be one more time. What is it that we men seem to be getting wrong constantly when it comes to or women or queens? What's going on? Can you help us out, Yan?
Well, I don't want to categorize every single man, but what I would say in general is maybe attention to detail. It's the little things that matter. The big things are great and they're bonuses, but I think the smaller things are what's more important. Again, spending that extra time, just noticing the small things, whether it be your lady, she got her hair done for the day, or nails, toes done. The compliment is always nice.
This hair thing, I tell you, women and their hair, God help us. Okay, let me write that down. Compliment. I know it's a thing, honestly, Yanique. I know that these things are so important. And us guys, with our practical minds and things, sometimes we know it's there, we see it and we know that it's there and we know that she did something different, But for some reason, we always, some of us tend to fail to just say something. And sometimes you remember and then you remember too late when probably the day done. You're like, oh, shit,
Yeah,
probably.
and the second part of that is, listening and communication, working on fine-tuning that a bit.
Communication.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I should open up this door. No, I swear I'm not sure if I should open up this door. But yes, you are correct. I'm gonna say this though. We talk about communication and we put a lot of emphasis on communication, and sometimes we all drop the ball on that. I mean, kind of making reference to my friend, but anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I would suggest, I would throw out one little strategy. I'm not gonna behave like I'm any professional. Trust me, far from it. But guys, girls, choose a moment within the week, or if you want to push it as far as the month, where couples sit down and reevaluate themselves. Talk about stuff that they seem to be, dropping the ball on. And I mean, I know communication is important, but I feel like we all tend to kind of fall at the wayside when it comes to that.
I would agree. Life, sometimes happen to just take that front seat and everything else takes a back seat.
Yeah.
But I would definitely agree with you. That time has to be set aside and we have to be very intentional about it.
Definitely. And so just want to spend a little bit of time talking about that because, I have to start touch on the relationship topic. Another question, Yan.
Yes.
Not going to put too much pressure on you. Shout out to the other half of Yanique. My apologies, for kind of pressing your wife to talk about her business. Is it true that the statement still stand and it is true and it has value that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach? Is that a thing?
I would say for my situation, yes. Everyone, is different. You have people that like different things. So can we say that statement applies to everybody? Not necessarily. But for me, absolutely.
Me still love food. So I don't know what you're talking about.
But you know what? Not every man is looking for a woman to be able to cook for them. There's some men that they really enjoy cooking for themselves, and it's not a big deal if their significant other may not, do that as much or as often.
I do agree. And I mean, things have changed so much. It's not like back in the past when you would have, the partner, the female part, the wife at home or whatever, and the husband goes and he's the breadwinner and he expect to come home and get something to eat. Women are somewhat, and I might have to change that somewhat, women are taking the lead when it comes to their career, their profession, and look at one in front of me right here. And I don't know how you do it, but so it is only fair that that statement or that philosophy gets revamped somewhat, guys, not completely revamped, because if you have a partner that is working full-time just like yourself, it's going to be tough for her to come home every day and have a warm meal on the table. So some flexibility have to be considered now.
Definitely tiring, definitely draining when you're not just a person that's working full-time, but a mom and a wife and an entrepreneur and a business owner. It is a lot. And I think that's where communication comes into play, and just that equal effort and having your significant other step up and is willing to do some of those things to help you out a bit. Doesn't mean that one person is doing it more than the other, but it's equal effort shared.
I totally agree with that. And I mean, I need to take this time again, Yanique, to just say thanks for coming on the show. Because separate and apart from my first guest, Robert, when I reached out to Robert and I say, yo, I'm doing this thing, I want you on my show, his response was, when? And you're like the female version of Robert. I didn't get any second thought. It was also when. So truly appreciate it.
It is my pleasure.
And guys and gals, this is not gonna be the last time you guys see Yanique Green Ricketts on this show. I can assure you of that. So if you guys have questions as we go along, feel free to comment. We have other plans in the future for keeping this thing going, building a relationship. I want to support her. I want to endorse her. Wherever she goes, I want to be there to see if I can learn something. So Yanique, let's get into your business.
Okay, let's do it.
YGR Immigration Consultant or Consulting. Can you tell us about? I know there's another part, but let's talk about that side of the business first. Tell us how the birth of YGR Immigration Consulting came about.
Well, YGR Immigration Services came about because of my own personal experiences that I've encountered with the Canadian immigration system. I came to this country at 14 years old on a visitor's visa that expired 2 weeks after I got here. I already had a parent here, and they did what they needed to do, as any parent would, to ensure that their child, is where they are. Unfortunately, multiple routes were, tried after for permanent residency, and unfortunately, none of those routes were successful. Because of that, I had, like about an 8 year setback of being stagnant, not being able to move forward or go backward. And it was a very frustrating experience. During that time, you learn who your friends are, you learn who your families are. And unfortunately, I know that I'm not the only person that experienced this, but I know there's also other people out there experiencing this. And, you find that, people that you thought were family, they start taking advantage of you. I got married at 20 years old. We did a in-country spousal sponsorship application. When we went to do our interview, in Toronto, we were told, or I was told, that there were two CBSA officers waiting outside to speak with me. Or actually, at the time, I wasn't even made aware that there were CBSA officers. I was told that there were two gentlemen outside that would like to speak with me after the interview. So I said, okay, no problem. In my surprise, once I got outside, it was two CBSA officers there waiting for me. They put me in handcuffs. My husband cried. First time I saw my husband cry, actually. Yes, I know. He, begged them to remove the handcuffs from me to save me the embarrassment while they escorted me.
Was that even necessary? Oh my.
You know what? They did take the handcuffs off, so thanks for that. But the experience was definitely a humbling one, and I wouldn't change anything about it. I think that experience has made me who I am today. I was able to meet some beautiful people, during that journey, in the detention facility where I was detained at Rexdale detention facility, to be exact. And unfortunately, or in-country spousal application was denied, as I did not believe the marriage to be genuine. I was later deported back to Jamaica about 4 months.
What criteria did they use to determine that?
You know what? That's a great question, because I'm still trying to figure out the same thing. I want to know how them can judge everybody marriage on one specific checklist or whatever they have. That don't make no sense to me. You understand what I say? But anyways, I was later deported back to Jamaica in 2014, actually. I know it was definitely a readjustment that had to be done. But I was deported back to Jamaica in 2014. I spent 2 years and 8 months there before legally returning to Canada. We had done a out-of-country spousal application, and that application was approved. After it was approved, we had to do a authorization to return to Canada to lift that deportation for me to legally return. I returned in November of 2016, and I would definitely say during the 2 years and 8 months that I was in Jamaica, I had some time to really sit down and figure out what is it that I want to do when I return, and immigration was what it was for me, and being able to help people that are falling in the same, space or going through the same experiences that I've had to encounter and endure. And I do what I do because I love doing it, but that was the birth of YGR. My personal experiences with the Canadian immigration system, it motivated me to do what it is that I now do, so I'm able to genuinely help people because I can actually relate to the person that's sitting across the table from me, right? I'm not someone that just went to school to say, you know what, this looks like a lucrative career. Let's do this and make some money. No, I did it because of my personal experiences and wanting to be able to help people. And I believe that this is my purpose in life, and this is how I get to help people along my journey.
Is it safe to interject here, Yanique, and say that sometimes when bad things happen, we should not count it as not being valuable? Because I feel like that happened to kind of open up your destiny. So even though it seemingly was meant for bad, so a whole lot of good is now coming
I would
from it.
agree. I would absolutely agree with
Yeah.
you. I am a person that believes that no matter what you go through in life, if it's something that's negative, there's always something positive to take or to learn from that negative experience. It's an opportunity to grow and be better and do better.
And there is normally a reason when things happen.
Yes.
I guess we're just society teaches us that when something bad happens, it's something to, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have remorse or cry, but we have to be patient and look for the purpose behind the event.
Exactly.
So thank God for those immigration, what those officers are called again?
CBSA.
CBSA.
Yes, Canada Border Service agents.
Shout out to Canada Border agents. You guys created Yanique Green Ricketts.
That is absolutely true.
And now she's helping and will help thousands of new immigrants. So that was the birth of your first love. I mean, where your business is concerned.
Yes.
So let's get into the business. What is it that you do?
Okay.
Overall.
So I offer immigration advice to those who are seeking a way to come to Canada and they may not know what that looks like. So pretty much everything that a lawyer would do for you, I would do the same. The only thing that I'm not able to do is represent you in federal court, but I'm able to do everything else.
And can you just tell us your website and where people can find you, look you up and so forth?
Absolutely. I can be found on Instagram at YGR_IS, on Facebook at YGR Immigration Services, on LinkedIn also at YGR Immigration Services, and we are also on YouTube, YGR Info Corner. You can feel free to visit our website at www.ygr-is.com.
All these links will also be added to this script and in the comment section also. So don't worry, you guys will find her after today. So I'm gonna paint a scenario, Yan. I'm somewhere, I'm in Jamaica or I'm in another country, and I jump onto your website. What would be the first thing that I would need to do to kind of get more information? What would be my first step? Let's just put it that way. Shout out to one step.
So if you are an individual potentially, seeking immigration advice and you go onto my website, you want to have a conversation with me, you have two options. You can either go straight to booking a paid consultation, which is an hour long. That normally is done via Zoom. Or you could book a free 15-minute phone call with me to have just a casual conversation. So I get to know who you are and what your expectations are and goals are as it relates to Canada. Okay. And then from there, based on the conversation that we have, then I would normally redirect you to booking that consultation if you are serious about your journey and you want to get an assessment, where we look at your background history, and that encompasses a lot of different things.
So I'm sure that you probably have optional entry.
Absolutely.
What are those optional entries?
And are we talking about into Canada?
Yeah, into Canada.
Wow. So
and it's different from the US?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Canada and then give us a little, little insights into the US too.
So I don't do US immigration. Okay. I only do Canadian immigration.
Okay.
But we do touch on US, but that's for the other business.
We come into that business.
Yes. Okay.
Let's tell us about the options.
So for Canada, as it relates to different pathways which one can come, if you are someone that doesn't have a family member here, such as a spouse or a parent that can sponsor you, then you would be someone that would fall under the economic group, meaning that you're trying to sponsor yourself by, meeting certain educational requirements and work requirements and possibly even getting a job offer from a Canadian employer. Now, with those different things, it may make you eligible for certain pathways to permanent residency that Canada may have. Keep in mind, they're also assessing you on other things as well, depending on the pathway that you're pursuing, such as your age, education, work history, your English exam, adaptability. And adaptability can be, what type of interest have you shown to live maybe in a particular province in Canada, whether that be by applying for jobs. That could also look like having a actual family member, blood relative, specifically a brother or a sister or half sibling that is a permanent resident or Canadian citizen. So that is things that they would look at under adaptability. Now, based on, some of those different criteria that they are assessing you on, again, there are different pathways to permanent residency. We're talking about provincial programs. Every province have or has their own pathways to permanent residency. And then you have the overall pathways, which are federal. We're talking about express entry. We're talking about the Atlantic Immigration Program. We're talking about the agri-food program. We're talking about the caregiver program. There's so many different, options.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use my mind to kind of, paint the scenario as to if I'm taking this step.
Okay.
And you know what come to my mind, Yanique?
What's that?
Money. There's always a cost, right? I mean, everybody have a desire to improve themselves, themselves and their family and so forth. But there's a cost to everything. So the thing that kind of start to run around in my mind like a little squirrel is, and I know this might be difficult for you to maybe share, but can you give some insights as to what a family maybe, in terms of finance, how much money should they be thinking about putting aside to get the entry and the documentation and the application going and settling down after coming to Canada for, let's say, the first couple of years?
Okay. So again, that's a hard question to answer because every pathway may have a different proof of fund requirement. So for example, the express entry, I think, is one pathway to permanent residency that has the highest proof of fund that you have to show. And that is broken down into how many people make up your family. So for example, say you are a family of two, just a, husband and wife, or, two spouses. You could be potentially looking at anywhere from 16,000 to 18,000 Canadian dollars that you have to show as proof of fund, for you to even be qualified. They're going to be looking at these things.
So that's rough estimate $2 million.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's just as proof of fund, right? To show that, once you get to Canada, you have enough money to, get by until you're able to find, work and, fall into the groove of things.
And we're doing the conversion to Jamaican dollars. I just want to point that out.
Exactly, yes. Now, you have the Atlantic Immigration Program, which is similar to the express entry, but different. I like this program a lot because the proof of fund requirement is significantly less than that of the express entry. For example, say a family of 2, 3, you could be looking at anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 Canadian dollars that you have to show for proof of funds. So you can see that's a big difference from that of the express entry. Now, keep in mind, if you are able to obtain a valid job offer from a Canadian employer, whether that be, with a LMIA that's supporting that work permit, then you will be exempt from having to show proof of fund.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds possible.
Absolutely.
Your website, and I mean, do you have any testimonials there from persons who you guys... Oh,
yes,
perfect.
Man, of course. Be your testimonials that all up and down on the website. Them can even go on Google, look for my thing and see my thing up. Yeah, a professionalism was there that we are deal with. I
mean, I can honestly vote for Yanique when she gets set on to completing a task. If she's working with her clientele, she's gonna be consistent. So I'm sure I should have gone on that website, and I don't know why I didn't go on that website. All right. So now there is this, I'm going to say, the sister part of the business.
Yes.
Which is YGR, Student Recruitment Services.
Yes, you got it.
I got that one right this time. Okay. So is that one new? How long has that one been around?
That one is new. That is my newest baby. That hasn't even been around 2 months yet. And we haven't even gone public, socially with it to make people aware, hey, this is what we have going on now. Here's the addition. These are the different services that we're providing.
Perfect opportunity.
Exactly. So I'm pretty much breaking it here.
There you go. And this is going to be presented on the show called One Step. The very first time Yanique Second Business is now being promoted. Tell us about YGR Student Recruitment Services.
YGR Student Recruitment Services. It's my second baby, and you know what? I with doing the immigration stuff, I realized that there was a need for this business, and the reason why, because I have a lot of students come to me that want to study internationally, or those that come to me after they've already been in the country as an international student. They get their post-graduation work permit. They wait too late to have that conversation with someone that is licensed in the immigration field, and by the time they come to you, time is no longer on their side. Time, unfortunately, is not something that we can control. Now, with this YGR Student Recruitment Services
and
business,
it's not just for Canada, right?
Exactly. So the YGR Student Recruitment Services is not just for Canada. We cover 5 different countries. So if one is interested in studying in Canada, USA, UK, Australia, Ireland, we cover all of those, right? We have a portfolio where we can pretty much, do a compare and comparison on pretty much most, if not all, of the post-secondary institutions within Canada. And again, that is universities and colleges. And same thing for America, UK, Ireland, and Australia.
So I'll use about the same scenario. I'm thinking of further in my studies. Let's say I can only speak for Jamaica because that's where I'm from. Let's say I finish university, but I want to further my studies and I want to do it overseas.
Okay.
I jump on your website. What would be my first step?
Perfect. If you jump on our website, the first thing you will you will pick which country it is you're interested in studying in. So if it's Canada, you'll just select the subsection for Canada. You'll be able to see all the different benefits of studying in Canada, in addition to a search engine that will allow you to actually put in your program of choice, what term you're looking to start. And once you plug in all those information, it brings up our nice third-party affiliates platform where you get to compare all the different universities and colleges within Canada that is offering your program of choice. You're able to see what the tuition fees are on each of those different post-secondary institutions. So you're able to compare to say, okay, well, maybe I may not want to go to this college because this one is, offering the same thing and it's at a lower cost. Or, we can even fine-tune our system where, we can filter out the colleges or post-secondary institutions that offer scholarship opportunities. However, we also offer scholarship opportunities as well through another one of our third-party affiliates.
Okay.
In addition to a lot of other things.
Honestly, I personally went on this platform, and my God, whoever put that program together, that software together, can we shout out that person?
Yes, big up Rashika, nice, good, clean cousin.
Rashika?
Yes, Rashika.
Shout out to Rashika because that platform seemed to be well built. There are so many tabs, so many options to navigate around, get the information, get the links. Girl got talent, man.
I know, she's amazing. She is great at what she does.
Awesome.
Truly amazing.
That's good. That's excellent. Again, Yanique, money. What is it gonna cost? Because I'm gonna say the average person who wanna study is probably young adult, young person who might not be, unless their parents have all that financial, the big bank account and so forth. What's the average cost? What is it going to cost the average person who want to, enter the US or Canada or England to further their studies?
Okay, so right now I'm going to use Canada as an example.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's wanting to study as an international student in Canada, the first thing you should be aware of is that you are going to be paying 3 to 4 times more than what the Canadian citizen or the permanent resident pays living in Canada. So that's a lot. For example, and again, this is, say we're looking at a 2-year college program. Again, the prices are going to differ depending on the length of the program, what program it is, that you're interested in studying. For example, a 2-year college program may be in a business marketing program, say at Sheridan, for example. You may be looking at anywhere between 14 to 16,000 Canadian dollars, and that's just for your first year. That does not include, what do you call it? Day-to-day living.
Okay.
Okay, so day-to-day living.
Survival money.
Exactly. You're looking at an additional $13,000 to $14,000. So if you 16 plus 14, that's what $20,000, and that's just for 1 year. If we're supposed to convert that to Jamaican,
over 2 million again.
Exactly, and that's just for 1 year of a 2-year program.
Are there 1-year programs?
Absolutely, there are 1-year programs. I have had clients from Jamaica that has applied to study here. They've been approved, getting their acceptance letters, getting their study permits, completed their studies, got their 1-year post-graduation work permit. Something to also note, if you do a 2-year program or a program that is longer in length, normally you will tend to get a 3-year post-graduation work permit, allowing you to work after your studies for up to 3 years.
I think that's an excellent opportunity.
Absolutely.
It means to get into Canada. And I mean, life is good here.
Yeah.
I definitely can vouch for that. Been here too long. All right. So here is the follow-up to this now. Now, you guys hear us talking about Yanique's immigration business. And I'm sure that persons might be a little bit skeptical because of the many scammers out there. So, Yanique, how can people verify that you are an actual license, you have your credential, they can go online, find you and find out that you are, you're legitimate?
Yeah. Well, they can visit the CICC website and they can search up the list of authorized representatives. That CICC, that's the College of Immigration, and I believe it's citizenship consultants, allowing us to actually work as a licensed consultant. They can just go to the website. You can search find to figure out if your consultant is licensed, and you just plug in my name and it will normally pop up telling you, yep, this consultant is actively licensed and is in good standing, and that is something I am very proud of.
People, she is 100% legitimate, and man, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Leave us with some encouragement, Yanique.
Okay.
A lot of women are hopefully will watch and watching this program and so forth. And, they've always wanted to somewhat live a similar or take certain steps that you have taken to lift themselves up, start a business, go after their dreams, because I feel like everybody has some idea. They've seen someone or they've seen something that somewhat represent what they wish or hope to be. How can you encourage anyone out there in terms of pursuing their dreams? That is.
Honestly, I'm going to answer the question in the most honest way possible.
Please, please.
Don't let anybody, deter you from what it is that you want to pursue. Not all advice is great advice, and maybe you may not want to share everything with everyone. You need to be decisive about the people that you're sharing things with. Not everyone wants to see you win, and sometimes it's going to be the closest people to you, whether that be friends or family. Not only that, when you actually start winning, that's when you'll see the same people who were discouraging you or didn't really have any great advice to give in the beginning stages. Those are oftentimes the people that you see make a 360 and turn around being one of your biggest cheerleaders. So again, you have to be very specific and intentional in the decisions that you make and what you choose to share. And not everything or every day is going to be easy, because I can tell you there are some days when I feel like I just want to dash my phone through the window and lock up in the bathroom and hide from my husband, from my picnic, from everybody, from the world, from all of the phone call and the text message them. Like I'm one person and I want to help everyone, but that's not realistic, right? So just remember that in going after your dreams and chasing after your dreams, remember to put some time aside for yourself and your mental well-being.
I mean, you literally answer all the follow-up questions that I have, because my next question was going to be, is it safe to share your dreams with other persons? Not
everyone. Again, you have to be
selective.
You have to be selective. And again, the reason for that is not everyone wants to see you win. However, you don't want because of that, you potentially lose out on the opportunity of sharing something with someone that may be able to push you, further or closer to your dreams, or put you in the right circle, networking, right? Somebody else that can take you to the next level.
Ladies and gents, this is Yanique Green Ricketts. She is now an official member of the One Step family. I mean, you might see me sitting still here, but I am so motivated, so encouraged. I feel so blessed that this sister decided to come on the show and turn the place upside down. The show is called One Step. Hit the likes, subscribe. There is greater things ahead. Stay tuned. Keep the support going. Guys, gals, love you all. Stay tuned for more. My name is Joel Bennett. Take care and bye. I've been dreaming. I felt like